What's poppin'? It's Kairos. You're entering Kairos realm. In this present moment in time, we'll be jumping into a virtue talk. And the virtue we're going into is balance. Balance, balance, balance. Just in the same accordance of discipline, balance is a virtue that kind of, it, uh, having balance itself builds other virtues. Because when you're participating with existence, if you always carrying balance with you, as a virtue, as a lighter aspect of yourself that helps you commune with existence. When you always got balance with you, you never, you're not falling. You're not just crashing out. You're not getting lost in vices. You just don't participate within existence and get lost into it too externally. You know how things have repercussions that come from them. That's what balance will teach you. Because when you messing with everything in life in reality and you're using balance, you always have a precautious or a graceful hand. It embodies oneself to carry more of them vibrations of eloquence. You know, to where in life when you see people crashing out too much in the energy or displaying it in like a dramatic or extra value, it can be taken with disdain. To where you can tell when a person just like they got an extremity of an energy and they haven't balanced it in themselves. So they got some emotions and feelings or some thoughts and ideals that they extreme at, that they are drastic in. And they don't necessarily balance it out in a sense when they are communion or expressing themselves with the rest of existence. They just get lost into that. You know what I'm saying? They don't necessarily feel like their life plays a part of balance, or they don't be thinking about balance as a virtue. So they'll be going through a lot of occasions and situations in existence to where they gotta realize, like, all right, this energy I carry and who I am, or all these naturalities that I have, I can't be participating with all of myself when I go into certain events and occasions. It make people get them type of realizations when you aren't carrying balance, because you're not looking at yourself like, all right, this is something I gotta be this is something I gotta be cautious with. This is something you gotta have some grace with. Just talking about your energies, how you are inspired to live in reality, how you carry about your existence itself. When you're not doing it in a balanced way, or you don't got them type of awarenesses around your being, when you move and whatnot in life, you always on a sense to where scales. That's what I wanted to say. I kept thinking of. I kept doing all this shit. I was thinking of the fucking scales, bitch. When you do something, you may not be looking at like the percentages or the repercussions of what's coming from it. Like you're not scaling it out. You don't really got no balance or no sense of that with existence. So when you do shit, you're more likely to get addicted to things or lost into them is what I'm expressing. When you don't have balance, or when you don't look at that as like it's something that you need to carry. Me having balance, I'm always having mind, like, all right, let me not do too much of this with everything I fuck with. So me getting lost in some addiction or just, what I'm saying, anything that's going on in life in reality is that's not gonna happen to me when I'm carrying the virtue with balance. Because I'm always looking at it like, all right, just take like the light and darkness, for instance. I'm not gonna get too lost in the light, because I know, like, darkness be here in the same sense of that totem pole. And just talking about how you balance out reality, I be needing some darkness and I be needing some light. I be needing some substance or some shit, you know what I'm saying? And I be needing things to ascend. I be needing things to evaporate and dissipate sometimes. But it's a balance. I'm not gonna get lost in either one of them, you know what I'm saying, senses of life. I'm being extra, but that's balance. Like, like, Like that's why like just talking about like what I see in life, some shit I see in life, an analogy of how you may, you know what I'm saying, see aspects of balance hidden in your reality as well. It's just how people perceive and observe existence. You know, like you know when motherfuckers not balanced. Like I could be hella scholarly, right? I could be hella studious. You know, I got a lot of knowledge. I got a lot of wisdom. I got a lot of information. I got a lot of intellect. You know, but to balance that out, like what I be doing is just the flesh and with my body, my surroundings, and then my immediate habituals might not be hidden for shit. You know what I'm saying? The attention I garner with the naturalities of my personas and the characteristics and traits that I have may not be shit. You know, and a motherfucker like you will look at that in life and it'll be like a studious woo-wah motherfucker. But you may not respect them or see them in high regards because you know, your balance off. You all smart and all this shit and all that good shit, but you still a lame. It's still like the basic average little athlete or whatever you still want to do and be in a lot of likenesses of life that they already have mastered more of. I got a better grasp and grip than you may have in actualities. But you appear to be all this extra stuff. You not balanced though. You know, like motherfuckers respect balance more because it shows that my status is stronger. It's more solid. It's not something you can just come and fuck with it and throw it off in some way. You know, like you can't really attack who I am because I'm balanced. You know, that's why it'd be different when it's like dealing with motherfuckers to where it's like, nah, this motherfucker like they smart and all that good shit. Hey, but like they know how to digest reality in the form of just intellect. You know what I'm saying? But this motherfucker done learned and trained how to be within the senses. You know what I'm saying? How to deal with physicality and be in action, be in materialization, rather than just receiving such things. They done balanced it out. So now you in life and you know what I'm saying, motherfucker like that, they gonna be more solid. You ain't gonna be able to throw them off or put them in spaces and likenesses in which they don't want to be because that's balance, you know, and that's like some shit that everybody should have for real. You know, I don't really trip off of that. I don't really look at it like that, but it'd be something nice. Everybody, like, if you looked at life more in accordance with balance, or like, you know what I'm saying, like just dealing with each other. If we all had a sense of like, you gotta be balanced. You know, like you wouldn't be like so like we wouldn't be crashing out in how we relate to one another because we always have a sense of balance in our life. Like I like it's always like some totem pole type shit. Like you will realize your actions got repercussions because you already in the sense of like what develops from them repercussions itself from an enactment going on. You know what I'm saying? Like how shit naturally balance out. Once some like you know what I'm saying, like once like a chemical reaction or something go on, you know, like after some immediate change, it's this shit that come from that. You know, the shit that come from that be like the existence naturally balancing itself out. You know, and if you don't got like no balance, you just be lost in all the immediate for impactions. You know what I'm saying? Anything a motherfucker put out here and present, you lost into that shit. Cause you don't got no balance. So I can always get you lost in the current and like you know what I'm saying? You don't know how to float. You ain't never floating. So as soon as a little wave or as soon as a little tide, something like that made, you know, since you don't know how to balance and shit, oh, you finna drown. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of spirits and bodies like that. I don't know if that was the best analogy. Bitch, bitch, you get the you catch the drift. You get the sense of a balance. Goddamn. And that's the basis of it. I'm not gonna dive too deeper. You know, I ain't trying to be too long-winded in these virtue talks. I want to make what's the names? I want to go live and shit, maybe, and eventually like talk. It's something I'm gonna do. But when I get to that point, you know, like going live and talking about virtues and stuff like this on a greater accordance, so you know it'll be more than just my input. You know what I'm saying? So we have more perspectives and you get a greater sense of what balance actually is. And so we can get some clarity over it. because once we actually start like talking about virtues and paying attention to them type of likenesses of life, that's when we all get clarity. You know what I'm saying? Or whoever is resonating with them type of spaces. So whereas like you're not paying attention on the bullshit, you're not giving the bullshit your energy, or just the bullshit stuff that's going on in life. You giving like higher, like virtuous shit, your energy and attention. It's like that's where you're gonna flow towards. Motherfuckers will direct themselves and that type of aspects of existence. But it's gonna take some time, but it's gonna get there. You know what I'm saying? To where we can, like that. That's gonna be a cool little vibe of motherfuckers. And sitting together talking about virtues and really starting to, being able to, like, I don't know, like it'd be like I ain't gonna be too long winded, but it'd be like motherfuckers that's like people just like some beings in reality be too focused on being frustrated. You know what I'm saying? You you make yourself be frustrated or mad, angry and alone. A lot of these emotions and feelings of depression and just negativities and whatnot, like you get lost into that. Because like that emotion made you feel something. And it's like once you felt that you started being in existence, like you always gotta be in this vibe. When you get in another vibe or another state of being, you get that feeling of change, and motherfuckers don't like that. That's uncomfortable and it be weird. So when you gotta change yourself, you know what I'm saying? Like people don't be wanting to be on that, and these virtues gets you comfortable with change, to where you realize life is always changing on some shit, and you know what I'm saying? Just being on virtues is just easier to ascend to where, as spirits and bodies, we won't always be like, oh, what's the denseness is and what's this lostness. We'll be looking at life like, motherfucker, like, you ain't even virtuous. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know, like, it's like astrology and a whole lot of shit out here, but I feel like virtues is something that's like, it's been lost in just like the care or you know what I'm saying? I think it was really cool at one point in time just learning about virtues and just some type of conceptions being displayed into reality. You know, like in the same sense of like learning about like you know what I'm saying, like astrology, like on some mystical tip, like relating to motherfuckers. A motherfucker don't got no esoteric know-how. You may look at them a little less because they don't know like you know what I'm saying, the tricks and shit that's being played and whatnot. But a motherfucker will be virtuous. And them virtues make them go past all them little traps and shit that's out here in life and reality for the average person or average individual. But everybody don't be virtuous. You know what I'm saying? I think it'll be good to, tap in and like them virtues, bro, to start talking about like the goodness that like making humbleness be cool. Our discipline be cool, our balance be cool, and looking at a motherfucker like, yeah, that's a real balanced individual. Like we'll start recognizing like little characteristics and traits that take people further. You know what I'm saying? Whoever be on my type of resonance and whatnot, rather than it just being like, oh, this person they attract this type of attention, or they look like this, or they nah. What be making people go further in life and become great oftentimes be virtues. You know what I'm saying? And if we gonna break it down and go into it, but that's something that like I peeped in life, to where it's like people be lost in all these like little cool characters and like creations and art and shit that motherfuckers done did, but it's like we don't be peeping like the virtues that got them there. It's a reason why that spirit and body was able to resonate with that frequency, vibration, and energy, and why we look at it in the likeness in which we do. Oftentimes, that's because the virtues that was like resonating the space in which they be in, how they was receiving reality and like participating with the cosmos, was in a likeness of greatness. To where it's like as spirits and bodies, you gotta reciprocate it like that. But that's something like we can all learn and develop, ourselves. So where it's like not just everybody, but motherfuckers can be great. Anybody can be virtuous. You just train, practice. Anyway, Kairos.